Is Black Clover the victim to a horrible studio, or is finally listening to the hours worth of Asta screams finally made Studio Pierrot go mad? Well, find out in this video. Hello and welcome to the Demo Entertainment YouTube channel. I'm Antonio, and today I'm going to be sharing my opinion of Studio Pierrot, as well as if Black Clover will change studios and why Studio Pierrot is having problems in the first place, and then I'll go over my conclusion. I put timestamps in the description below, as well as some of the articles and blogs that I used to help me make this video. So I'm first going to talk about my opinions of Studio Pierrot. So if you're like me and you watched the anime before you read the manga, you probably thought that the anime was, pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. It had, pretty cool moments, with like fights like the Yami and Lich fight. But slowly, as you progress into the anime, you start getting a little bit, pissed off at the bad consistency of animations. Sometimes you'd have, decent animations, and other times, you'd have fucking horrible animation. That just made it a fucking headache to watch. I do get that. Or maybe, you read the manga first, and then you want to get into the anime adaptation, and then as you start watching the anime adaptation, like, what the fuck is this? Because the second episode has a kind of a mixed filler, and then the third episode is a full filler, and the horrible consistency that the anime had, while slowly going into a deeper rage after every time you hear Asta scream. Now, I may have not gotten to that point, but I do understand it. Both of these cases can lead to the same assumption that, the studio that makes this anime has to be complete garbage. And I do get that because Studio Pierrot is the studio that made Naruto and Bleach, which are notorious for their, quality fillers. So it does make sense why someone would think that the studio isn't good. I don't think Studio Pierrot is a bad, studio at all. I think that, there is a chance that maybe a different studio could have done a better job, but you gotta remember that it's really hard to compare studios because the different types of work that they actually take. So now I'll be talking about why Black Clover will most likely not change studios. I'm sorry to crush everyone's hopes, but I just don't see it happening. Of course, it is possible since they haven't renewed Studio Pierrot for season 3, but it's like I said, it's very unlikely. So currently the production committee for Black Clover is Shueisha and TV Tokyo. At least that's what it says on the Black Clover website. So the reason why Shueisha probably won't change studios is, first of all, they usually don't do that with long-running anime. I mean, the only example I can really think of is, One Punch Man, and the only reason why they didn't get the same studio was due to scheduling errors and the production committee for One Punch Man not acting soon enough. And there is another anime that you can kind of compare it to with Yu-Gi-Oh, where actually, Toei Animation first was the studio for it. They did like 27 episodes, and it was so bad that Shueisha actually ended up changing the studios and just redoing the anime completely. However, I don't really see that happening with Black Clover, since Black Clover is the 4th highest grossing anime for TV Tokyo. So basically, Shueisha would have to be brain dead to switch the studio randomly and say, you know what, guys, it just isn't working out. 4th highest grossing anime, just not cutting it out, and kicking them out for a different studio. There's no way that happens. And like I said before, there's no way that a well-known studio like Madhouse would even do a better job than Studio Pierrot due to the planning of an anime and the production committee and how they schedule the episodes and the deadlines. So I'm going to talk about why Studio Pierrot is actually having problems in the first place, which might have led you to believe, that they're trash to begin with. I will clarify that I think an anime series has to be good from start to finish, and that the problems that happen in Studio Pierrot really fucked up the anime. There's just no doubt about it, and I probably won't rewatch the anime because then I'll have to go through those horrible animated episodes again. and the only way, that this would get fixed is that if the anime gets redone. However, I just can't really say that it's all Studio Pierrot's fault, because the staff works incredibly hard to produce those weekly episodes, as well as them being, extremely passionate for Black Clover. So basically where the problem started to arise was after episode 8, when Studio Pierrot had no in-house in-between animators. It became so bad that the director actually started doing the in-between animations for episode 17 and 49. Thought that the in-between animating was usually outsourced, but I do hear that the studio also gives the work to junior editors to kind of learn how to animate more and then get kind of familiar with the production of anime. If you want to know what in-between animators do, I'll go ahead and have a link in the description that tells you everything you need to know about how anime is actually made. Eventually, one of the in-house directors had to leave in order to direct the Black Clover video game cutscenes, which meant after the second core, there was a lack of episode directors, which is really bad. Things got even worse when the production desk got fired or quit. Then 2 subcontracting studios went bankrupt in 3 to 4 months. They also had a lack of key animators and storyboard artists. And since Studio Pierrot had a shortage of staff, it forced them to turn to a lot of the subcontracting studios, as well as outsourcing a lot of the stuff they did, which meant that they had no time to correct the animations themselves after they got it, because usually when you outsource a lot of things, the quality is much worse. So they had to deal with this lower quality because they just couldn't do it themselves, and then they didn't have time to correct it because of the horrible deadlines that they had. Now, I'm not going to claim that I know a lot about anime production, so I'm going to go ahead and link a bunch of articles and blogs that talk more about this, as well as another video that talks more about the problems that Studio Pierrot had. So the conclusion of this video is that Black Clover will most likely not change their studio due to the success of the anime. Of course, Studio Pierrot has a bunch of problems due to the shortage of staff and a bunch of other things. The quality of the anime should get better with time as they hire more people and more staff, and hopefully the studio takes a little bit of a break before they renew season 3 so they have more time to get that staff, and so they do a better job with season 3 and so on and so forth. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you later.
なるほどなるほど。なんということでしょう。お久しぶりだね、クロコボーイ。